So topic area 8 is sodium hydroxide relaxer application. That you get 20 minutes for this section. In your SEC guide, in your packing for preparation, you should have a clean chemical drape. It may be used from the perm section before, so my mannequin is still draped from the perm section before. Simulated sodium hydroxide chemical relaxer, a barrier cream, a spatula, an application comb for parting and pressing, and a color brush. The steps that you are going to do for the preparation are sanitize your hands, remove the items from your kit and close your kit back up, place the bag in single use, ensure that the chemical draping procedure is intact, perform a hair and scalp analysis, and apply the protectant cream on the scalp and around the hairline and the ears. The instructions that they are going to give you there are: this evaluation is sodium hydroxide relaxer application. 5 minutes will be provided to set up your workstation and prepare your client for a chemical service. The proctor will announce when there are 2 minutes left to finish. When you complete your tasks, please stand quietly. You may start. Timing begins now. Timer for 5 minutes. I'm going to sanitize my hands and get my relaxer bag out. Make sure you close your kit back up. Out of here, I'm going to have my sodium hydroxide relaxer. I am going to have my color brush, my gloves to remind me to put them on, and then my stick to apply my barrier cream, or to get my barrier cream out. I'm going to put this bag in the trash, and then I'm going to sanitize my hands before I touch my client. So I'm going to go ahead and do my hair and scalp analysis. Okay, everything looks good. And I'll put my gloves on and apply that barrier cream. So I'll get my applicator stick out. This goes in single use. Barrier cream, I'm going to get some of the barrier cream out and apply it to the back of my glove. Applicator stick is going to go into the single use. I'm then going to use my finger to get a small amount of the barrier cream, put that around the hairline, on the tops of the ears, and then for the relaxer, we are actually going to base on the scalp. So barrier cream on the scalp, and then we are going to, about every 1.5 inches, apply barrier cream to the scalp. And then our client would be prepared for the chemical relaxer. And I can put my clip back on there. I am going to use a paper towel to remove the rest of the barrier cream off of the back of my glove, throw that into single use, and then sanitize my hands. Your next set of instructions are going to be 10 minutes will be provided to apply sodium hydroxide relaxer application to 3 subsections in one of the quadrants or sections you created on the head. The proctor will announce when there are 5 minutes left to finish. When you complete your tasks, please step back and stand quietly. You may start. Timing begins now. So the procedure for the chemical relaxer that's in your SEC guide is going to tell you to use clean gloves. We're still gloved up from before. Apply your simulated relaxer onto the mid shaft 1 inch from the scalp and the ends onto 3 sections. Apply the relaxer to the scalp and then onto the ends, and then gently press the relaxer from scalp to ends with the fingers or the back of the comb to all 3 sections. So I'm going to set my 10 minutes onto my timer and start. I will always start by sanitizing my hands. Open up my bowl with my relaxer in it. Move my clip. I've already based, so I'm just using my comb. I'm going to start down here by the ear, my first section, and then everything that I'm not working on, I'm going to clip up out of my way. An inch away from the scalp. You want to make sure that you apply this smooth as well. And we're going to apply it to both sides. So there is my first subsection. I'm holding tension on the hair and keeping it flat so that when I'm applying this product, I don't have all of the flyaway hairs. I'm applying that to both sides of the hair again, and then a third subsection. Okay. Now that I've got that applied to the mid shaft, I am going to go back to my first subsection, and I'm going to smooth this out onto the ends and then use my finger to apply it to the roots and smooth this out. Second subsection, pull that down through the ends, apply that to the root, and keep that nice and smooth, flatten it out. And then our last subsection through the ends, apply that to the roots. Now you can see I got a little product here on the client. That is when you can get a paper towel and remove any of that product. And you also have barrier cream on, but you want to make sure that you are showing that you're being mindful of getting product close. I was really close to the eye there, so I wanted to remove that off. I am finished with my application, so I'm going to remove my gloves and then sanitize my hands. We still had almost 6 minutes left there. To wrap up your relaxer section, the instructions that they will read to you are: we will now complete the sodium hydroxide relaxer application. 5 minutes will be provided to clean off your sodium hydroxide relaxer application workstation. The proctor will announce when there are 2 minutes left to finish. When you complete your task, please stand quietly. you may start. Timing begins now. So 5 minutes and start. I'm going to sanitize my hands. I'm going to wrap my brush in a paper towel to put it in my multi-use bag so that cholesterol doesn't get all over everything. I'm also going to use another paper towel to remove product from my comb and from my workstation. Put the lid back on. This is also going to go into your single use. And then my combs are still fine. Everything is still out. I'm going to sanitize my hands, and that will complete the sodium hydroxide portion of the exam.